All right, welcome to the show tonight. My guest wakes you up every single weekday morning as a senior meteorologist on Fox and Friends. Let's welcome Janice Dean to the show tonight. Thanks for being on the show, Janice. I'm excited to have you on for a couple of different reasons. First, what's really cool is I've been waking up with you for a long time. I used to listen to you back in the day with IMIS. Believe it or not, we were one of the first affiliates to be an IMIS in the morning station. So it's been a long time I've woken up with you. So thanks for being on the show. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. That's 20 long years.
Yeah, we didn't have to go into the numbers, Janice. We didn't have to go into the numbers. So I wish it was on a happier reason to be able to talk to you. As you know, things have broken quite a bit in the past week or so as far as New York Governor Andrew Cuomo and the goings on with the nursing homes. And my mother's in a nursing home too, and it's been so difficult for everybody with COVID. But can you take us back to some of the initial stages of what happened with your in-laws?
Well, it took us a long time to make a decision to put them into an elder care facility. They lived in a 4-story walk-up in Brooklyn for over 50 years. It was rent controlled. Their health was failing them over a period of several years, but we had help for them. We had aides that went in to take care of them and to watch over them. But then it got to the point where his dad had dementia and he had a lot of health issues.
Yeah.
So it was a family decision. His mom actually went with my husband to look at different assisted living facilities that she liked. And the plan was to have them both together. And
Right.
we found a nice one that was close to our home and we could go visit them. But his dad got sick and had to go for rehab in a nursing home to get him in better health before
Gotcha.
he could join Dee, his wife,
Right.
in the assisted living facility. And, a few weeks later, COVID happened. We were quarantined. We couldn't see them. We weren't getting a lot of updates. I mean, we would get calls. The nursing home was the eyes and ears for us during quarantine because we weren't allowed to visit them. And his dad died at the end of March. We got a phone call on a Saturday morning saying he wasn't feeling well. And then 3 hours later, we get a call back saying he was dead. And so we had no lead up time whatsoever. We didn't know he had died of COVID until we saw the death certificate.
Right.
And I remember now, a few weeks prior to him getting sick, the nursing home calling and saying that they were moving him to another floor so that they could admit more patients.
Right.
So I think they knew well in advance of the March 25th order, the executive order from Cuomo that put COVID positive patients in a nursing home. So I think they had a heads up before that. So he died at the end of March, and 2 weeks later, his mom got sick in her assisted living facility. She was transported to the hospital, and she died in the hospital 2 weeks after that, after his dad died. So it was terrible.
Tragic, yeah.
It was terrible because we couldn't have last rites. We couldn't see them. We weren't allowed, obviously, funerals or wakes. And, we didn't find out until the March 25th mandate, until it was too late. We didn't know that it was in place.
Right, yeah.
And I decided to get vocal because I wasn't seeing the coverage of not only the March 25th order, but I started finding out later on that the governor was hiding the numbers.
Yeah.
He wasn't counting the numbers in the hospital. So my mother-in-law died in the hospital from COVID that she got in her assisted living residence.
Yeah.
But her number didn't count because the governor didn't count the ones that died in the hospital.
Well, Janice, I don't know how many people have said this to you, but I think you deserve a lot of credit for what happened yesterday, Thursday, with the Supreme Court. That is huge. Like you said, there wasn't a lot of people talking about this. And I know from being in the business how brave it is for you to stand up like that, because as you know, it's not easy to be vocal if you're on a certain side. Let me just put it to you that way. And it's even, I have a hard time even talking about politics on any of my shows because I don't want that feedback, that potential ramification of being vocal. Did that ever factor in for you? Was that a concern at all that, hey, you're going to have an opinion that there's a majority of people who are very strongly detrimental to people especially in the media. Did that ever enter your mind? Like, maybe I got to keep quiet just for my career.
In the beginning, my husband didn't want me to speak out.
Right. Yeah.
And I didn't want to either. I'm not a political person at all.
Right. Yeah.
Everyone knows who I voted for. I'm the weather person on Fox, and that's the job I've been doing for 17 years. I've never expressed my political opinion at all. I've always said the red and blue that I see on a map are areas of high pressure and low pressure.
That's good.
So yes, it was a difficult decision, but I realized if I wasn't going to speak, who was going to speak about this? Right. And I do realize that the governor thinks it's political. He blames all of the coverage on politics, but my in-laws were registered Democrats. And so why does it matter? I mean, I would think that most people, this is a blue state. New York's a blue state.
Sure.
I would suspect that a good portion of the deaths that we had in nursing homes were from registered Democrats.
Right.
So where's the outrage on that side?
That's that's part of the pattern.
I mean, listen, I don't love being political.
Right.
But it's not about politics, and you can't blame it on politics. It's about human beings that died in a pandemic because of a governor who made fatal mistakes.
Yeah, and I think part of it too, Janice, is let me ask you this: had he approached this differently? There is definitely a mistake, and I've got a clip I'm going to show you in a second here because I think it's pretty damaging. But if he had more of a comforting attitude, or more of a "Hey, wow, this is oh my God, I can't believe this happened. Wow." Would that have made a difference? Because I would imagine it would have, but the cavalier attitude and the "so what" attitude, I think, has added insult to injury, and that's what makes people more vocal, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I've always said if he had come out at the very beginning and said, I made a mistake, I made a terrible mistake, I was getting bad information, I wanted to make sure that we had available hospital beds, I should have used the Javits Center and the comfort chip that were given to me by the federal government.
Exactly.
Had he owned up to his mistakes and apologized to us, to this day, I've never even heard him say, I'm so sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
I feel terrible.
Yeah.
I think we would have accepted that and moved on, quite frankly.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the bizarre part, because those two giant ships, the big ones that the administration brought in, they weren't even used. I mean, they weren't even used. And as I understand it, the idea was to bring COVID positive patients into nursing homes because they needed room. They needed places to put these sick people. That is what that's what was said. But I think to myself, well, what's being done with those ships that are in there? I did a little bit of research. I found a clip from a press conference from the AP. This is about 9 months ago. I want everybody to take a good listen to this, because I think when you listen to the reporter, and I don't know this reporter's name, but when you listen to the reporter during this AP press conference, it sounds as if this reporter was really concerned about this exact situation that has happened here. And Cuomo tries to blame the hospitals. Take a listen here.
Saying that these nursing homes that, as you said, are private, have to take back these COVID patients. So that's a state mandate. How do you reconcile those?
It's their patient. It's their patient. And their patient that they're getting paid to take care of now contracts the COVID virus. Okay, now you have to take care of that patient who you're getting paid to take care of with the COVID virus.
And what if they can't? Are they... Then
if you can't,
would you be non-compliant with...
Well, yeah, if you can't, if you're saying I can't take care of my patients, then fine. Then tell us you can't take care of the patients, and we'll make other accommodations.
What's the penalty for that if they can't comply?
Well, if you can't run your business, you can't run your business. Penalty is your own. You're out of business.
And that see, the damning part about that, the most damaging part, I think, sounds as if they know they're taking positive patients. They know they're taking positive patients into an environment with other patients that are possibly healthy. And what I'm hearing there is, okay, if this healthy patient happens to get COVID now, well, they're at the hospital. It's their job to take care of them. What? I must be wrong. Is that what he's saying there?
That is typical Andrew Cuomo, actually, blaming everyone. And he blames different people on different days. He's blamed the hospital workers. He's blamed God, Mother Nature, Fox News, New York Post. At one point, he blamed the nursing home workers and the residents themselves. Old people, they died,
Yes. So who cares?
Exactly. This is what he does. He's done it throughout the pandemic when asked about the nursing home issue. And to me, that's just another, it's another significant way. It's another example.
Right.
Another example of him not knowing how to answer the question and putting the blame on everybody else except the person that signed the mandate, which was Andrew Cuomo.
Do you have any research? Because I know you've probably done a lot of it, and I got to ask, was it 100% his decision? Because I would imagine if I was a governor, I would have people around me to help me make these kind of decisions. Was it solely on him? Was there anybody in his administration that said, this is the right thing to do, sir? You got to do this. And I'm not trying to make excuses for him. I'm just trying to figure out why somebody, would make a decision like this that seems so obviously bad.
Mm-hmm. There's been some reporting on this, especially recently. The New York Times had a damning article about how his health officials, 9 of them, have quit recently, part and parcel because of that very reason, that they weren't taking their advice. He wasn't basing it on science. And there is good indication that he was taking the advice of hospital lobbyists, not only for the nursing home tragedy, massacre, but also for the rollout of the vaccination. He wasn't taking the advice of his health advisors. He was listening to the advice of hospital lobbyists and donors. So I think there is a trail of corruption with this governor, and I am hoping that, we get to the bottom of it. But to do that, we're going to have to need an independent bipartisan investigation with subpoena power to get the governor, his health commissioner, the administration, people who work in nursing homes to take the stand and be in front of a jury and tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, because I believe there is a lot to uncover, to take the floorboards up and see all the rot that's underneath.
This does sound like it could be the tip of the iceberg here. Janice, a quick question: how's your husband handling all this? How's he doing?
He's okay. Yeah. I mean, it's almost a year. Actually, their anniversary is next week. They would have been married for 60 years. There are these milestones, these markers like Thanksgiving and Christmas, and now their anniversary. We just, his dad just would have had a birthday. His mom would have just had a birthday. So it's those days that are the hardest. Right.
Well, like I said earlier, I think that you really have taken the platform that you have, and I think if you weren't so vocal, we wouldn't be able to have the direction that we're going in with the Supreme Court now getting involved, and hopefully, what are you hoping is going to happen at this point forward? What would make things better? You can't bring them back, but what are you hopeful for?
That independent bipartisan investigation. I mean, we've obviously made big strides with the AG report that came out with the 76 pages from a Democratic Attorney General. Pretty damning. Very, very much so. So that is sort of a door opening to perhaps more uncovering. And I would hope, and I'm hoping, that there is going to be justice for my husband's parents and the thousands that we lost. And I hope that there is a real investigation where, the loved ones can sit in court and watch this governor take the stand.
Let's hope, and let's hope we'll follow for sure. Janice, thanks so much for being on the show with me. I really appreciate it. I know you're strapped for time as we all are, but I appreciate it, and we're going to follow this, and I hope everything works out.
Thank you so much for the interest in the platform and your support as well.
Thanks.